皆さんこんにちは。このセッションを担当いたします福原直秀と申します。
Hello everyone, I am Naohide Fukuhara who will be chairing this session, and today in this session we would like to welcome legendary jockey Yutaka Take, who has set numerous records in Japanese racing history, and Christophe Lemaire, the first foreigner to obtain a JRA jockey's license in 2015, who has since won numerous G1 races in the world. Please join us both on stage. Please take seats. So the three of us are wearing same colored suits.
We are the gray men.
Yes, that's right. So let me introduce the two gentlemen briefly from myself. Yutaka Take made his JRA debut in 1987, recorded most wins as a first-year jockey, and won the title of JRA leading jockey 3 years after his debut. Since then, he has been JRA leading jockey 18 times. And he has won more than 100 G1 races around the world, including the USA, France, Australia, Germany, and around the world. In '94, he became the first Japanese rider to win an international G1 race aboard Ski Paradise in Prix du Moulin de Longchamp in 1994. He has also set and broken numerous JRA records and is still renewing these records, including 4,500 JRA wins and 6 times Japan Derby victories. He's a legend in the Japanese racing world and was awarded the Longines IFHA Award of Merit in 2017. And Christophe Lemaire made his debut in France in '99 and has since won numerous G1 races in Europe. He started riding in Japan in 2002 and became the first foreign rider to be granted a full-year JRA license in 2015. And this would be his 10th year. And he has also won the title of JRA leading jockey from 2017 to 2021. And again last year in 2023, he speaks Japanese fluently. He's very familiar with the Japanese fans. He won more than 50 G1 races in Japan, partnering with many famous horses as Heart's Cry, Amendai, and Grand Alegria. Last year, he has won the main jockey to ride Equinox, which was awarded the Longines World's Best Racehorse Award. So I would like to ask many questions from different angles. Yutaka-san, first, I would like to ask a question. You've always been saying, with one whip, we can ride all over the world. The more experience I gain, the more I can improve my skills by having interesting experiences. Can you please share what's the importance of riding abroad? Well, since I was a child, my father was a jockey. So I really loved horse racing from when I was a child, and I always wanted to be a jockey since I was small. So ever since I was a child, I've been watching international races. We didn't get much information at the time, but I saw videos. Well, we didn't have much images, but I've been reading this magazines like Thoroughbred Horses magazines, and I've always dreamt of becoming a jockey and racing in international races outside of Japan. So in Yutaka-san, when you were a child, I think you always had the image that overseas was the true, authentic places for horse racing. Yes, that's right. When I was a child, and also when I made my debut, Japan or Japanese horses didn't really travel abroad to race. I think it was when I was in my secondary school, the first Japan Cup was held, and that really had left a big impression on me. And I thought, someday I would definitely go overseas and ride overseas. That's what was my dream. Christopher, I think when was it that you became familiar with Japanese racehorsing?
I came the first time in 2002. In France, the first impression we had about Japanese horse racing was through Olivier Pellier, who was the first foreign jockey to have to spend some time riding in Japan. So we had some reports from Olivier itself and of course from the media. So as soon as I knew that Olivier was in the country, I wanted to know more about Japanese horse racing, and becoming a pro jockey in 1999. It was my dream to come to Japan and ride Japanese horses. Hi.
I see.
ルメールさんが
Oh, so
日本でジョ
Christopher,
ッキーとして成功するためには
What
何が必要
was
だ
the
と思って
key
いました
success
か
factor for you to become successful in Japan as a jockey?
I always wanted to get experiences abroad. So from my young age, I used to travel. As soon as I become jockey, I went to different countries to learn. So I went firstly to Dubai and then America, and then I spent some time in India, 3 months riding in India. At a young age, I can tell you it was a big experience. I think to put yourself into difficulties about language, about culture, about food, about way of working, and deal with different mentalities. It helps you to grow up, and then when you get more mature and you go to a country for a while, then you feel more confident, you feel more happy, and then you can become successful.
I see. So, Yutaka-san, what do you think about the same story? Of course, you had good experiences overseas, but I'm sure there were lots of stressful aspects. Yes, when I first rode internationally, that was 1988 in Arlington Park in Chicago in the United States. And whatever I see, whatever I touch, I mean, it's the first experience, it's fresh. It felt like I'm myself jumped into a storybook or a magazine. It's totally different from what I knew. It's a totally different horse racing from what I knew in the past. So in 1988, when I went there, people asked me, oh, you have horse racing in Japan? And so the American horsemen, they were really curious. I see. So the time passed, and now there are many foreign riders riding in Japan on short-term races. And last week we had a World All-Star jockey in Hokkaido, Sapporo, and many of us enjoyed looking at different foreign or international jockeys. So when international jockeys ride in Japan, does that had an impact, change to your riding style? Yes, it has impacted me. I've learned a lot from other riders, and I've always wanted to be a good jockey and to be a good one. So visiting US, visiting Europe, visiting other countries in Asia, different experiences I have gained have given me a lot. And the Japanese racing, I think, has changed tremendously. And the world of jockey has also changed. Top jockeys are riding in Japan on short-term license, like Japan Cup or the World Jockey Race. So they're visiting Japan, and I can ride together with them. And there's so many things I can learn from them. So there are many good opportunities. Christopher, you have this is the 10th year that you're riding in Japan. Your riding style, has it changed at all?
Of course, through the years, I think you get better and better. For me, a jockey that get at his peak at around 35 years old, 40, because of his experience. Of course, the visiting jockeys in Japan had a huge impact on horse racing in Japan, especially the jockeys. To say two concrete examples, Olivier Pellier in the late 90s, he brought his smooth ride and his American style riding. So all the generation wanted to ride like Olivier Pellier. And then we had Ryan Moore about 10 years ago, and now we can see that the young generation, they ride like Ryan Moore. So, of course, to ride with top jockey from all around the world, it has a big impact on the way of riding of the jockeys in the country, and also the way of racing. So I think in the past, in Japan, we had very, very quick races with strong paces, and now the jockeys, they control a little bit more their horses, and they know how to get the best of their horse.
ありがとうございます。
Thank you very much for that. Next, as a jockey, I'd like to ask you about the work as a jockey. A lot of tough things, weight restriction and tough races and the risk of falling from a horse. I'm sure there are lots of anxieties sometimes when you race. Well, Yutaka-san first, how do you maintain your mental fitness as a jockey? Yes, the work of a jockey involves a lot of dangers and risks and pressures and stress. So that's what I always have, and that's something I have to deal with on a day-to-day basis. And just like this year, some of our jockey colleagues lose their lives after falling from a horse, and when that happens, all the jockey community, of course, feel very devastated, and that makes me realize how lucky I am to be able to continue riding as a jockey. Well, I think it's the same all over the world. I think there are excitement and great things that only a jockey can experience, but on the other side, there are so many tough things that only a jockey would experience. I see. So welfare of jockeys is something that we have to consider: safe tracks and protective vests, helmets and emergency response, and the rules on dangerous riding. There have been lots of discussions on these issues. From a jockey's point of view, is there any request that you would like to point out in terms of improving the jockeys' welfare? Yes, it's been 38 years since I became a professional jockey. From that experience, in terms of safety of jockeys, there has been tremendous improvements, and we are heading in the right direction. And globally, safety of jockeys have been a main focus in terms of providing rules. And I appreciate that. Of course, having no accidents is something that's the best for both the human and the horses. Fair and interesting races is something that I would like to do always. Well, how about you, Christoph?
Yes, of course, we have to enjoy the big improvements we had the last 20 years about the safety of the jockeys and horses. I think there's a lot of passionate people who still working backstage to improve that security, and we'll all have to encourage these works. Gradually, we try to make the risk zero, even if it doesn't exist. But we are on the good way, I think.
はい。
Thank you for that. Now, welfare of horses is something that has been a focus of attention recently. Use of restriction on the use of whips is a typical example. Christophe, I have a question. As a jockey, do you have any opinions about the restriction on the whip usage?
Of course, I have an opinion. This is the topic. Once again, we have to congratulate and to be happy with all the improvement in terms of technique and regulation we have on about the use of the whip. But on the meantime, it's quite irritating for a jockey to be considered as a criminal because he hit one or twice his horse. Because my grandfather was a stud groom, my father was a jockey, jump jockey. I'm a jockey myself, and I dedicated my life to horse racing. Of course, I love horse racing and I care about their welfare. But in the meantime, saying that hitting horses 5 or 3 times is criminal, it's a kind of irritating thing. So, of course, I know once again that people is working on the right way to use the whip. We talk about horse racing image. Of course, we have to take care of it, but I'm not sure it's the main problem with the concern of horse racing. So yeah, I think we have to work again and again about these regulations. You know that now when you travel abroad, the main concern for a jockey is not to know about the shape of the track or the language or the weight conversion. It's about grip rules. How many times can I use the whip? How much money I will be cut off if I exceed the numbers of whip? How many days suspension I will have if I exceed the numbers of, if I break the rules? So it's quite annoying, to be honest.
Yutaka-san, well, as a live commentator on races, I often talked about beating each other and beating the horse right before the goalpost, and that's about using a lot of whip before the goalpost. But in the Japanese horse racing, there's a more stringent rule in terms of the frequency of whip use. So as a Japanese jockey, what do you think about the restriction on the use of whips? Yes, from several years ago, particularly in Europe, there has been a trend of restricting the frequency of whip usage. Frankly speaking, among the jockeys, in the jockey community, current rules on whip use is something that not many people are happy about or satisfied about in the jockey community. The use of whip is could mean many things. To have the horse run straight, or of course run faster and pass the goalpost. That might be some of the reasons for whipping. But then sometimes we whip the horse for safety reasons. For example, but even then we may get suspension. That frustrates me often. I do have that experience myself. That's very candidly. Is there going to be, if there's going to be more stricter rules in terms of how many times we can use the whips? As a jockey, that's not something that I want to see. I think that's the same for many other jockeys.
Can I add something? Mr. Winfried, in the previous session, talked about education and storytelling And I think this is the point. We have to teach first the young jockey how to use the whip properly, and then the stewards, we should be able to judge if a jockey used properly or not the whip, on purpose or not, and also the public, of course. We are horsemen, we take care of the horse as much as we can, and eating a horse is not in order to give pain to the horse. It's just to help him to go straight, or to give a sign that he has to go faster and do his best. And if we teach people, then everybody will understand. And I think the rules doesn't have to be as strict as they are now, and so penalizing for the jockeys.
はい、ありがとうございます。
Thank you. Thank you for that. Well, today we have two representative jockeys from Japan, and Yutaka Take is known for his interview, giving witty and humorous comments, and winning the Arima Kinen with Dudus last year, and he gave a very interesting comment on the way back. He has lots of attention and engaging with the fans. And look, Yutaka-san, when you engage with fans, do you have anything that you're conscious about? Yes. For those of you who are here today, I'm sure you all know Japanese racing, horse racing. There are so many fans. And commercially, I think it's doing very well. Everybody wagers. So the racing fans, they love racing, horse racing, they cheer for horse racing, and I feel that I always have to provide and offer what I can to do my best to reward such fans. Because we have these fans, we could do good horse racing, and because they wager, our prize money is higher, and then we would have good quality horses in Japan. So we have this very good vicious cycle going on in the Japanese horse racing. So fans have to be happy. We have to make them happy. As a jockey, that's what I want to do. So Yutaka, with your contribution, do you think you've been helped in increasing wagering? Yes, well, the prize money in Japan is relatively high, and I understand that. And it's because we have many fans who love horse racing. That's the foundation. So this is something that I think we can be proud of to the world about Japanese horse racing. And I think we always need to meet and keep up with that. Christophe, to get the license in Japan, you had to learn Japanese and other things, and even after taking the license, you've continued to study Japanese. You've always looked up at Yutaka-san, and you've always been having good communication with the fans. I'm sure you have that in mind, isn't that right?
Yes, definitely. But it's important when you are in a country. It's important to be able to communicate with the fans. So I'm still learning about Japanese. I don't speak perfectly, but at least I can tell my feelings after the race. I can say about my horse before the race, and I'm always glad to have a connection with the fans on the race course after a big win. It's very important, and I think the fans are waiting for the jockey to express his feelings after a big win.
Yes, the two of you, Uma Musume, game character. You've been in that commercials, and that actually led to increase horse racing fans. Yutaka, would you like to say something about this? Yes, definitely. Uma Musume game. This is a game, and it's very popular in Japan. Young people, actually, women, girls, some actually tell me that they became to know about horse racing through Uma Musume, and they will come up and talk to me about that. And I think there's so many channels to get to know horse racing. So I'm really happy to hear such comments. Christophe, what do you think? In France, Japanese animation is a big thing. Uma Musume animation and the game. Have you felt any impact from that?
Yes, definitely. As soon as I started to participate with Yutaka-san for the commercial for Uma Musume, I could feel that the fan base is changing a little bit. More young people, more ladies, more girls. And we can see on the race course itself that this game had a huge impact on the racing fans. So I'm glad to be part of this game and this promotion for horse racing. I think it's a very, very good thing that has to be developed again and again.
Yes, before Uma Musume, there was Derby Stallion, there was a TV game which became very popular, focusing on Derby Stallion. So Yutaka, the young grooms, actually some of them say that their first interaction with horse racing was through games. Yeah, that's right. Horse grooms and other horsemen. Some say that they became interested in horse racing through game, and they wanted to be involved in horse racing industry because of these games. So Japan, in that sense, there's so many people who really love horse racing. Yes, who you're above middle age or even senior, their start is looking at horse racing through TV or going to the race course. But now people are getting interested in the game through horse racing through games. Do you think there are any differences? Well, I'm not sure, but there's so many ways, variations for people, how they get to know about this sports, and people want to know more about horse racing, starting from different start points. And they choose their careers in that industry. I think that's good. I would like those people to increase more, and I think that would be a good thing. Christophe, Derby Stallion, have you ever played that yourself, those games?
Yes, I used to play a lot not Derby Stallion, but Gallo Racer on PlayStation. When I was younger, I spent hours on that game. And yes, we have to, I think racing authorities has to think about the young generations, because the young kids, if they get interested on horse racing, they will come to the race course, they will bet on horse racing, they will maybe work in the horse racing industry. So I think we should keep in mind that we need to renew the population of fans and think about them by building facilities for the children on the race course, to bring families on the race course, and to in different way to make people interested on horse racing.
そしてそのゲームを通じて
So through games, for example, retired horses could be supported through a game. So the donations to support retired horses have been increasing thanks to those games. So on the retired horses initiatives on the retired horses and the importance of aftercare, what's your view, Ms. Yutaka? Yes, I hear about that, and that's a very good development, good trend. And racing fans are not just watching or wagering on the races, but they are more concerned about the retired horses, and they continue to support those retired horses. That's great. I'm happy to see that. And I hope that there'll be more such trend going forward. Christophe, you yourself have a apparel brand, and part of the sales from that brand is going to be donated to the support of the retired horses through J-Airs. Can you tell us more about it?
Yes, 2 years ago I created a fashion brand inspired by horse racing. And so the company give some money, some donation to retired horses. So in some ways, the fans who buy the apparel brand, the brand apparel, they are concerned. They feel concerned on the care of the horses, and I think it's a good point.
So that's one of the targets. So you can promote your brand here?
Yes, I thought about different sports. You know, people who like basketball, for example, he can show in the street that he's a basketball fan, same for soccer. And I thought, why not for horse racing? So to see people wearing the CL by Silumeru items on the race course or on the street is, I think, very profitable for the industry. And through this fashion brand, I try to promote in a different way horse racing.
Thank you. I think that was a good commercial for you in a way. But anyway, there has been many natural disasters in Japan recently. Yutaka has been the president of Japan Jockeys Guild for a long time. And the Jockey Guild organizes charity auctions to donate the sales to support the people in the disaster-hit areas. So what is your feeling behind all these initiatives? Yes, horse racing is loved by many fans, supported by many people. Otherwise, this sports will not survive. And among the horse circles, jockeys are in a very unique position. From fans' point of view, of course, jockeys are focus of their attention in a way, one of the focuses of their attention. So we always want to return something to the fans, and in return for their support. So jockeys always get together and think about what we can do. So when people are suffering in the disaster-hit areas, we want to help. Thank you. Now, both of you are veteran jockeys, and in the equestrian world, the copper medal, the bronze medal, was won by the Japanese team, and you talked about gray men winning the medal. So, Christophe, what is your dream about your career going forward?
My dream for the next week is to win the next race. For the next year it's to get the leading title, jockey leading title once again in Japan. And for the next 5 years it's to win the ARC in my home country. And for the rest of my life it's keep promoting horse racing industry, an industry that I love from my young age. and hope we will continue and keep watching champions on the track, horses and jockeys.
Yutaka-san, same question. I'm sure similar answers, but can you answer this question? Yes, almost exactly the same. I've been a jockey for 38 years. What I want to win is the next race. And of course, in many countries, when there are big races, since there are many races, big races, I want to be there, and I want to win major races in other countries as well. ARC and Leaders' Cup, Breeders' Cup, or Kentucky Derby. So many derbies I want to, so many races I want to win. As a senior jockey in terms of career, many younger generations are looking up to you. Some of the jockeys are as young as your children's generation. How does it feel competing with those younger jockeys? Any messages to them? Yes, some are 17, 18 years old, and I compete with them. Japanese jockeys have improved in terms of their riding quality. Many young jockeys are extremely talented, very skillful, and they are eager to learn and improve. And looking at them inspires me and motivates me. And I have a lot of expectations on the younger jockeys. I hope they will go out to the world and they will be invited to race in many countries, younger jockeys. And I hope that some of them can belong to large stables and then maybe become a retained jockey and become successful. I'm sure some of the Japanese younger jockeys will be successful in that way overseas, and I'd like to see that one day. Well, I haven't given up on myself, though. I want to continue to do that. Well, always you have been encouraging the younger jockeys to go overseas, right? Yes. Well, I don't want to divide Japan racing and overseas racing. Japanese racing is one of the racing jurisdictions in the global racing community. So you want to be light-footed, and if there are opportunities, get it. Go and get it. Don't miss any opportunities. So that's what I tell the younger jockeys. And from France, you have come to Japan, Christophe. So any message to the younger jockeys in Japan?
My biggest advice is to try to get as much experience as possible as a young jockey. Do your job with passion in respect of your horse and your colleagues. And as soon as you enjoy what you're doing, then you can be a good man, a good jockey, and live your passion, and also keep chasing your dreams. And nothing is impossible. So just have to work hard and enjoy what you're doing.
By the way, after a race, right after a race, Christophe, do you give any advice to younger jockeys right after the race?
Yes, it happened a lot. Sometimes the young jockeys come to me straight after the race, or sometimes if I saw something wrong, I'm very happy to tell them and try to make them improve, and I hope they listen to me. Maybe it's not always the case, but I was young myself, and I learned by watching the older jockeys. So it's also one thing they have to do. It's to watch properly the races and to watch the best jockeys in action.
Yutaka-san, what's your view on that? Yes, I do give advice to younger jockeys, but they are like my colleagues. we work together with the younger jockeys, and I learn sometimes from how the younger jockeys ride their horses. To perform good races is the best thing we can do for our fans. So that's what I always tell them. So once again, I just want to ask the final question, Christoph. What is the ideal world of racing for you?
Wow. The ideal world. First of all, it's kind of a show that we present to a public. So the first thing is to bring the better show to the public in order to make them enjoy, to spend a good day on the race course, on his own or with the family. And then more professionally, of course, to keep increasing the level of the horses by respecting them, reducing all the risks of injuries, and then to make horse racing a major sport in the sport world, as big as soccer or American football or Yaku, baseball in Japan. I think a lot of people is working hard to make this happen, and I believe that we can do it if we all join our forces, our talent, and always think positive, and also use the strong points of horse racing, and maybe erase a little bit the weak points.
その間に新しいイクイノックスくらいの
And maybe you can encounter a horse as strong as Equinox.
Yes, of course, because these horses are very good ambassadors for horse racing, and I could really feel the impact of Equinox on the horse racing world, but not only. And we have to keep going that way through the breeders who invest a lot with a breeding which is the base of our industry. And when these champions comes out, we have to promote them and to make them famous, not only in our small world but worldwide.
ありがとうございます。武豊はいかがでしょうか。
Thank you. How about you, Yutaka? You yourself want to continue riding forever, you said.
本当に私も38年間
Yes, I've been riding for 38 years, and I've seen tremendous progress in the world of racing in the last 38 years, evolution, so to say. So I'm sure there's more potential for the racing world to evolve further. And so many fans love and support horse racing.
やはり胸を張れるとこだと思います。
And we can be very proud of that.
そういうレースを続けてい
And
く
we want to continue to perform races that we can be proud of and the fans love. That's one thing we should do. And we're not well, maybe we can look forward to what's to come. Maybe something that we are not expecting might come in the future. And I'm sure this is a very frequently asked questions for you, Yutaka. How long are you going to continue riding?
したいですね、僕は。
I want to ask that question myself. How long should I continue to ride? Well, it's been a dream to become a jockey, and the dream came true. And I'm fortunate enough to continue riding now, given the opportunity now. One thing I can say is that even if you want to continue permanently, there are sometimes things that you have to stop when the time comes.
動きを続けられない
Some other jockeys have encountered that fate. They had to stop being a jockey halfway through their career. But I'm fortunate enough to be able to continue. So I have to perform my best always. I'd like to see how far I can go. Well, thank you very much. The summer season and the autumn G1 top season will start, and I'm looking forward to both of you giving us great races. Thank you very much, Yutaka-san and Christoph. Thank you.